Alright guys, let's go ahead and go over this. Yeah, it's pretty funny the way that this is the same day.
Six.
So I decided to watch Kirk play for a little bit in his recent recording, and I kind of realized I don't have to watch these in order, you know. So I was like, I already know everything about the game. I can watch Kirk's last video for a little bit and see if he says something interesting. And lo and behold, it ends up being the exact same day that today is. And I just thought it was too funny that yeah, and like he said here, I noticed earlier that today was 6/6. Today is 6/6. 4 plus 2 is 6. So he broke it down a little better with his reply here, and it really is today. Really is like 666. The 5 plus 2 is 9. That's the inverse 6. As above, so below. 9 is upside down 6. So today is 666. Isn't that fun? And the July 1st
I
thing,
hadn't heard what the.
it's funny too because her next entry, in case y'all don't know, so Luca, when she was a child, right, she had this very traumatic experience involving machines and her mother getting her legs caught in this machine right here
Actually, gonna be fucking.
and being unable to save her, right? And the July 7th thing is funny because I'll show it here. So that was actually I did this video a few weeks ago where Elon Musk, Elon Musk, this guy's Lone Scum, got entangled with this lady, Ayumi Yamazaki, and when this all started with the date July 1st because that happens to be the song that I remembered, and lo and behold, this Japanese singer got entangled with Lone Scum. So it's just fucking weird shit. Okay, so synchronicity, two synchronicities. So two synchronicities right in a row, all right? Um, like I said here, I'm not quite caught up. I'm gonna get into that in a minute. The Prometheus thing was really interesting. Let's see here. So I break down Luca's tomboyish, personality, and I just got through going over this like literally a minute ago, and I realized I wasn't recording. So I explained this whole thing, and I wasn't recording. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna have to fucking say it again, and hopefully I nail the point home. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this. From Luca's point of view, it may have been her lack of manliness that could have prevented the accident with her mother. Makes sense that she would emulate her father because becoming some sort of tomboy in the process. She mimics what her perception of the animus, which is her major animus figure, her own father, reflects life as well when young girls who have poor animus figure end up emulating bad boys are actually according to their own perceptions of what a bad boy is. From there, the men in the girl's life begin to reflect the fake projection and turns into a terrible cycle. Bad boys act like bad boys because that's what women perceive them as, rather than anything that reflects the reality of it. In Luca's case, her father would be the ultimate light. There is no need for her to project the fake animus onto her father because that's just who he is. It isn't a fake animus. This is why young girls need their fathers in their life. They need to see the light and only the light. It's heartbreaking when that is missing. And I go over tomboys and how they're pretty good at, from what I've noticed, I noticed that tomboys tend to be like traditional wives a lot better than other kind of other types of women. Um, so what do I mean by this? All right, it's kind of esoteric, right? So from Luca's point of view, right, she perceives this whole incident with her mother, getting caught in this machine, right? In her mind, and she would never outwardly express this. Again, we're treating fictional characters as if they're real, but this applies to real life. And from Luca's point of view, she could have prevented this by becoming more like her father, right? Um, so she begins reflecting those attributes of what she perceives as manliness. But the thing is, it's not coming from some fake animus figure like say for instance a bad boy, you know. It's coming from her actual father. It's coming from the light, so it can't be corrupted. The only way it can really be corrupted is if, let's say, the mother steps in and, talks shit or begins turning the daughter away or talking, like talking crap about the dad and all that. That's when that neuroses starts. That's when that trauma starts. So this is all in Luca's mind. So like I said, it's really crazy that a game like this kind of shows this, but trying to like the writers don't understand. Like the writers will tell a story like this, right? They'll have a script about Luca got into machines because her mother got into this accident, right? Which is true, but it's a little deeper than what actually happens to young girls that become this like tomboy person, where like in Luca's mind, maybe on the surface level it's about the machines, but in a deeper spiritual level, Luca recognizes this idea that she needs to become more like her father, and in order to become more like her father, she has to begin reflecting him, and that's the light, right? Because the light shines and everything else reflects. The father is the light, and the children are the reflections of that light. Does that make sense? So, like I said, surface level shit. They'll say, oh, she became an engineer or a machinist because her mother got her legs crushed in this machinery accident and she wants to prevent that. And it's like, yeah, maybe that's surface level shit, but deep down, it's because she she recognized the importance of becoming more like her father. Does that make sense? So, um, like I say here, bad boys act like bad boys because that's what women perceive them as. So you got women, young girls, seeking the animus, right? Seeking the animus that their father didn't give them. The father wasn't the light in their life, therefore they're seeking the animus, meaning, and they don't know what they're looking for, so they begin like kind of making up attributes, like the bad boy attributes, like the smoking and drinking, what society tells them manliness is, right? And they'll look for that in other men, and the men or the boys will begin reflecting that, and it becomes this terrible cycle, right? This kind of satanic Ouroboros snake eating its own tail type of situation where the guys are only are merely reflecting the projection that the young girls are giving them, rather than it being a natural kind of godly light. If that makes sense. I explained it better a while ago, but I think that'll do for now. So it's a fake light, it's a fake projection. And when it's the father, like I said, when it's the father, it's not a fake light. It can't be a fake light. It's impossible. And they're piece of shit dads too, right? And I'll totally admit this. There's like piece of shit dads that project project the wrong animus. That happens. I won't deny that. But I'm saying in this case with Luca, it's probably a lot better than, let's say, Marl. Just to get into it, like Marl maybe wasn't she was like Marl is seeking the animus, right? Because she didn't get it from her father. Her father's like a king, kind of ignoring her, letting other people raise her, that kind of bullshit. Um, letting the tribe raise her and all that. It's like, oh, it takes a tribe to raise a child or whatever that bullshit is. So she's looking for the animus. So she runs away from the castle, goes to the Millennial Fair, meets Chrono, right? So Chrono could be considered maybe the bad guy, right? And Kirk was the one who brought this up, and fucking on point, dude. Like Chrono kind of is the description of a lot of things. Like he is kind of like the bad guy in a way, right? At least according to society. Even though it was more happenstance that he happened to like he's a felon, right? Technically a felon, and fucking the king's daughter is like hanging around with this felon. She's hanging around with the bad guy, technically, right? According to society's standards. It's really funny when you fucking say it that way, because it's just crazy that they put this shit in their game. This isn't a fucking video game, dude. And these writers, like, I'm gonna flat out say it. Maybe it's arrogant of me to say these writers had zero fucking clue what they were doing. They're not thinking about this stuff, okay? And the script still plays out. Like you can't fucking avoid it. Like you can't wiggle around it. Oh my god. It's so crazy. This is why modern writing's trash, by the way. Not this story, but like they try to like the diversity and all that equity and the wokeness and the fucking political correctness, like trying to wiggle around the facts, wiggle around these ideas of anima and animus, and even then they can't really escape it. They can't avoid it. It's just fucking wild to me. So, what else? I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. Poor animus finger in a bang. Yeah, I think I repeated pretty much what I wanted to say. Like, yeah, man, I ranted for like 5 minutes and forgot to unpause. That sucked ass. When I did it, when that happened, I was like, oh fuck, I don't even feel like recording now. All right, guys, how's it going? It's gonna be kind of a strange one. I'm in a situation where I only have one monitor right now, so I'm having to like crop it in a weird way. But anyway, I want to go over a few things. So this is gonna be like a variety hodgepodge episode, like I've done in the past. So just bear with me. I'll put timestamps and everything. So I'm going over my Discord notes. It's like I got some free time. Let's go ahead and go over some stuff that I've been meaning to. Oh yeah, the Discord notes thing I had mentioned a couple months back. I can show it real quick. So there's you know how it goes away after a while on this side, like I've talked about. There's actually a threads button up here. So all you have to do is go into whatever channel the threads are in and click on the threads button, and they're all there. So you don't have to worry about archiving topic. They kind of talked about this incident. um, yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna start with this lady. What's her name? Freaking Marie Louise von France. Von France. So supposedly she was like a protege of Carl Jung. Um, so we'll go over that. So pull up my notes here real quick. All right, let's get into it.
When the animus isn't ruling, I think the only thing to do is to get the animus out of the way, and that the rest comes by itself. Because it's naturally not so much the outer men who really suppress the women, it's just as much the animus. And against outer men, if they want to suppress you, you can just walk out on them. But the animus is therefore the real problem. One should found a women's liberation society against the animus, not
So just to make it clear, from what I understand, when she talks about the animus needs to disappear, she's talking about females who kind of try to embrace the masculinity a little too much. Like they're trying to. She talked about modern feminists here, where it's like the modern feminists are too obsessed with the animus, and that's what she means by dropping the animus. She says it's not really the outer men that are suppressing women, it's the animus, that animus idea. It's an ideal.
against men. Society against the animus, not against men.
Right. Society against the animus, meaning they're not, society isn't necessarily against men, they're against the animus. Like the idealization of what masculinity is. And this is all projection. Like the feminists and men do this too, where you have to like project this aura of being macho, right? Like we got this idea in our heads of what masculine is. We got this idea in our heads of what the animus is, and we got the same thing for the anima. The anima to me is very twisted as well, where because that just happens automatically. Like she said, the animus will disappear automatically. What she means by that is that we project the anima automatically the moment we're born. Um, because we project this idea, these precepts of what motherhood is, right? Like the moment you come out of your mama's womb, you project the idea of mother onto the woman. You can't help that, like, and vice versa. Like the lady who gives the birth automatically assumes the role of the anima, the animus, the mother. I mean, the mother. So that happens all automatically, and it's a projection, right? It's just this ideal, societal ideal of what motherhood is, and it all depends on your culture, right? But to me, it's more universal than that. It's a little more ingrained in human beings. But let's continue on.
Society against the animals, not against men. That would be women's liberation.
But
And then what femininity recovers by itself, I mean, it
in a natural way.
in a natural way. After all, one is a female.
Mm-hmm. What's amazing to me is that I don't know how much the interviewer understands what she's saying. I'm not saying like, oh, I understand what she's saying, because I may not be. I may be getting this wrong. Okay.
That's where the creative work of a woman comes in, isn't it? When, I mean, the animus, the only way to get him out of the way is to.
Well, you see, the animus has to be is also in the creativity. And there is in his right place. That's why Jung was very much for women doing creative work, because that occupies the animus in what he should do.
Yeah.
Namely,
It's interesting,
relate
huh?
to the
Because I've talked about animus and the anima before, and I describe the animus as a few things, like in The Wizard of Oz, where the three characters represent masculinity, right? They represent intellect, courage, and morality. And that's what she's saying here. Like the intellectual part of the woman is the animus part. That's what she's saying here.
Conscious. And then also the animus is first, if somebody hasn't worked on the animus is undeveloped, and therefore he's let's say, for instance, in scientific work, where I am mostly working, have more experience, the animus is a parrot. He repeats, he copies what is in other scientific books, he quotes, he accumulates quotations. And then one day you say to yourself, now, how do I understand that myself? Now let's put aside even Jung. Let's not quote Jung. Now
She just blasted the education system too. It's amazing to me how so many people misunderstand what this person's saying. The anima and the animus, how they completely misunderstood concepts. And like I've said before, guys, I'm uneducated. Like I'm a layman, right? Layman, whatever it's called. It's like I'm not. How come? I don't know. Maybe it's presumption, right? Where I'm saying like, oh, I understand this. And it's like I feel like I do more than most people. Like even the jackasses that study this shit, just like project this weird nonsense onto it, especially the feminists. I think that's all I wanted to show from that clip. The rest isn't. I mean, the rest is interesting, like, but I don't want to go through the whole thing, obviously. I just wanted to talk about that one little tidbit. I'm just going over the comments real quick. I don't see anything too particular in this comment section. Not a lot of whole deep thinking. Pretty surface level shit, which is fine, you know. Nobody's really given any kind of insight. Like these discussions are so shallow. I don't know, man. But here's my comment. Against the animus and not against men. I was quoting her right there. I'd say the big push for women getting into STEM jobs has been the subconscious desire to see the animus. As she said earlier, Christian women realized they had to act like men in a vain attempt to become their own animus, IMO. In my opinion, children as they're growing up are supposed to see the animus figure in their fathers, the fatherly role model. Women can't simply abandon their animus. It's automatically ingrained to each individual. And that's from having fathers, okay? This ingrained animus in women is from having fathers. At least it's supposed to. And it's any male figure in their lives, right? Um, a lot of times, you know, these fatherless kind of girls that grow up, they seek the animus, right? So they get entangled with the bad boy kind of projection or the bad boy archetype. They get attracted to, like, you know, the smokers or the drug users or the beer drinkers. They have this attraction to that ideal of manliness or manhood that they didn't get from their fathers. And I've seen this so many times, especially growing up, where these kind of these young girls without father figures, they they seek the animus in like the worst possible people, like people that are already fucked up, you know? Um, just twisted, man. It's so crazy to witness things like that where these young girls get entangled in these bad boys, quote unquote, right? And they're really just normies in disguise because they're just following the trends, you know? They're all smoking cigarettes and drinking beer like Billy says, and it's like they're just following the trends. Like they're so fucking shallow. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's people like me that, and maybe even people like Billy, who, you know, they don't get tattoos and they don't drink and they don't smoke weed. And I used to smoke pot when I was a kid, a little teenager, right? And I couldn't. I mean, I was influenced. You know, like I couldn't help that. I didn't have a father in my life to kind of to look up to. Not even necessarily a father to tell me, "Hey, drugs are bad," okay, kind of deal. It doesn't. It does. It's not that. It's not about that at all. Like these fucking war on drugs and this say no to drugs bullshit is a bunch of shallow nonsense because they're supposed to they're supposed to see the animus ideal in their fathers and maybe in their mothers a little bit, right? Or in the blood family, the kin family. They're supposed to see that example, that living example. You can't tell a kid say no to drugs and then they don't and go do drugs. You know that shit don't fucking work. I mean, Billy knows that firsthand. I know that firsthand. That shit don't work, okay? I know he didn't do drugs or anything, and great, good for him. I did. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm the authority on it because I used to smoke weed. I don't mean that at all. It's just I know what it feels like to be kind of peer pressured into that. And I was just following the trends, right? Following the download, looking for the animus and these other little wannabe gangsters. That father, that animus figure is not necessarily even a father figure, just any kind of male that shows some kind of competence. I don't know, man. It's crazy. And my ideals changed around the time I was a freshman. I really liked band, and I liked my band director. He was a guy. He was like in his 40s. And I looked up to him, so I found the new Animus, and that's when I got away from the, you know, the little wannabe gangster life shit. And I got away from that, and I got into band, and that's how I was kind of saved, you know, because I found a better Animus figure, and that's what it takes. That's what it takes to wake up, in my opinion, because that's what happened to me when I had my first Satori, when I had my first enlightenment. What did I call it? What's the Christian word for that? Oh fuck, I forgot. Uh, oh my God, what do they call it? Anyway, when I had my first enlightenment, it was because I saw God in my father, and that was the new, like the ultimate, you know, ideal, the ultimate animus, and that's when I really woke up. I don't know, man, it's crazy. I think everybody's capable of that, but there's a fat chance in hell that they'll have those kind of realizations. All right, reading on. She says herself that women who are educated discover the animus via more creative pursuits while in university. That's the animus projection. The problem today is not an unhealthy relationship with the animus, but an unhealthy relationship with the anima. Women and men Women and men have an unhealthy projection of their mother. It's been twisted and distorted with all the animus traits to the point where you can't even tell the difference anymore. The animus energy is dominant right now, and not for the better. And the way I say this, when I say animus energy, I don't mean men dominating. I mean women pretending to be men dominating. It's this the fake masculinity right now. Like women pretending to be men. That animus energy is what's dominant right now, and that's a problem. It's not for the better. It's actually really for the worse. You can have the opposite effect as well, where it's like too much animus in men, where it's like they're too domineering, or they're giving off this phony projection of what manhood is, and that's a problem as well. You'll see that a lot with the drug users and the beer drinkers and all that. They think that being these phony things is what manhood is, or manliness is. Anyway, I think that covers that. All right, just to give an example, I made a community post a few months ago, just the idea of what manliness is, right? So Carl's Jr. had this weird promotion where they were trying to like bring back the manliness, you know. You already know where we're going with this. Look, I'm a warm-blooded male. I don't mind stuff like this, but it gives the weird impression that. Let's play it. Here,
Let's be real.
I'll pause it.
It'll be a hot mess after the
I'll turn the volume down. So yeah, so you don't see like this stuff like this not today, right? Sexy bikini girl, blonde bikini girl, kind of bimbo, uh, promoting something, right? And this is what I mean, where we have a lot of dummy red-pilled guys going, "Oh, we're making it back. We're going back to manliness, right? We're bringing sexiness back." And like I said, I don't necessarily mind that, but these stupid asses don't realize that they're being pandered to, right? They're being sold a product. And that's where my beef, no pun intended, that's where my beef comes. My beef comes from. Oh, look, that's the most played as a beginning. That's too funny. It's like not even a judging butts, right? Like, I give it a 7 out of 10. It's okay. You know what I mean? It is kind of funny though. Who the hell is that a porn star? What's her name? Alex Earl? Who the fuck? Let's see, who is this lady? 2000. So she's 25. Okay. Alright, so she's like a... Hopefully they don't show anything not safe for work. I wonder if she knows she's... I'm pretty sure she's plastic, man. Which is fine. I mean, fucking ladies, do what you want with your bodies, man. I don't give a fuck anymore. You know what I mean? I can't show it. Whatever. I'm not gonna try too hard. Y'all can see it right here. Little thumbnail. That's that lady. I'll show it there. Can't tell she's plastic. Pretty sure she is. You know what I mean? How to be tall. How to be in a tall suit. You know what? Fuck it. Alright. That's that lady, I guess. So back to this. Back to this stupidity. Alright. Crop it back. So, like I said, so many guys are looking at this and going, yeah, we're back to manliness. Blind that they're being controlled by the illusion of choice. So, big trucks, burgers, hot women in bikinis, that's manhood to these people. And that's what I mean by this phony animus, this fake animus. That's the fake animus that the men will begin projecting, you know? And the women project animus as well in a different way. They still think these are physical issues. They're adopting the same approach as crazy liberals have done for the past 15 years, and the red pill to think that will fix things. It's ridiculous. So the dummy red pill, right? Just to go over it one more time. Like I said, they're adopting the same approach as crazy liberals have, where they think it's a physical problem. It's not a physical problem, it's a spiritual problem. So many of these idiots are being pandered to. I think that about covers that topic really quick. Let's move on to something else.